Hello everybody and welcome to this varsity volleyball matchup between the Shiocton Chiefs and the Amherst Falcons. I'm Brett McNamara and you are listening to Zaleski Sports on YouTube. We have a very exciting matchup here today between two high caliber volleyball squads. Coming in to this one, the Shiocton Chiefs go at 16-6 overall, 2-0 in conference. Then over on the Amherst side, 12-6 overall, 2-0 in conference as well. As the starters are being introduced for Shiocton, it is senior night for Amherst. A little ceremony going on, so that's why we have a little bit of a late start here for this one, as we should get started at around 7:30, so 30 minutes after the original start time. So you can hear Amherst announcing their starters. Shiocton beat Lord's Academy for their last game in 2-0 in sets. That was last week Thursday. And over on the Amherst side, they lost to Winnacone 2-0 on sets on Friday. Like I mentioned before, two high caliber volleyball teams, both sitting at 6 losses. Falcons haven't played as many games, but Shiocton sitting at 16-6. As the starters are finished being announced. All right, here we go. As the starters take the court. Starting for Amherst, Sasha Golan, Callie Lepak, Ivy Bulk, Alexis Wiersba, Kinsey Martin, Leah Kisting, and that rounds out the starters. Over on the Shiocton side, number 12, Natalie Young, number 2, Aaliyah Reese, number 1, Brooke Beshta, number 21, Cordelia Monette, and number 5, Liliana Griesbach. As Amherst serves this one away, collected pretty good by Shiocton. Tipped back over to the Amherst side. Here comes a spike over. And a nice tap back by Shiocton. Gotta get it over. They do, right into that middle zone. Chiefs get there pretty quickly. Here's Amherst now. Nice little tap over, collected by Monat. And a spike over, that one goes out of bounds. And the first point will go to the Falcons. Nice little rally between the two teams, and you're going to see that a lot tonight. As here we go with the serve. Serving is Kinsey Martin. Martin gets it over. And here comes the Falcons with a spike over. Nice dig by Liliana Griesbach. Here's the bump and the spike, and a nice block there by Beshta. Tap over. Falcons now with it. And once again, a great rally between the two squads. Here's the Falcons again with a set and the spike, and a nice bump in the air. Tap over by Shiocton. Falcons now headed over. Hit over by Wagner. High in the air, Falcons just kind of float that one over once again. And a nice block, and that will be a point for Shiocton. I thought the Falcons were going to get there but they hit it back into their own zone, and this one is tied up 1 apiece. It's only 2 serves, and it's been 2 great rallies between the 2 squads. So here's Brooke Bichetta with the serve for the Chiefs. Spiked over, hits the top of the net. And that one heads out of bounds on the hit by Wagner, the sophomore. And it'll be a point for the Falcons. Serving it for Amherst is Sasha Golan. Here comes a spike and a nice block, but once again into that Falcons zone, and we are tied at 2. Subbing in for the Falcons, number 2, Tara Stormone. Out will go Sasha Golan, who just served it. Serving it for Shiocton is the sophomore, Sophie Wagner. Gets it over. Here comes the Falcons now. High up in the air. That one might go over. It doesn't, but it's tipped by a Falcon. That's Alexis Wiersba. And it goes out of bounds. It'll be a point for Shiocton, and they have their first lead of the night. Here's Wagner now. Spiked over by Wiersba, and a nice block by Natalie Young, but that one heads out of bounds. It'll be a point for Amherst. And here is Callie Lepak with the serve for the Falcons. Collected by Shiocton. That one out of bounds, and it'll be a point for Amherst on the hit by Natalie Young. Young, the only freshman on this Chiefs roster, making the start as well. She'll serve it here. Here's the serve. That one heads out of bounds on the spike by Bulk, and it will be a point for Shiocton. 3-5 here in set number 1. Here's Young with the serve. Collected by Stormone. Back over to the Chiefs side. Setting a spike. Blocked by an Amherst. Front player is Bulk. Nice dive attempt. Got to get it over. They do. Chiefs had to reach all the way over for that one. Back over, and that one gets over on the hit by number 20, Ashley Newbert. And Newbert hit it right in the spot where the Falcons were not at. They were trying to get all over the place, try and find that ball, and eventually got dismembered. And it's now 6-3 Shiocton. That one heads out on a hit by an Amherst player. It's now 7-3 Chiefs. Nice job here by Shiocton so far. Hitting in the perfect soft zones. Here's the Falcons now. Got to get over. They do. Collected by Young. Hit over, way out of bounds on the hit by Cordelia Monat. And the Falcons finally get a point back. So 4-7, Amherst is currently down. Nice few rallies between the 2 squads. Serving for the Falcons is Bulk. Hitting over is Shiocton. They got a spike, and now the Falcons do, and that will be blocked. Falcons retain it. Back over once again, and what a spike by Wiersba. Very powerful spike there by the junior. Shiocton couldn't get that one back. So 5-7 now. Chiefs still with the lead. That one heads back over, a little tap by Bulk, or excuse me, that's Singer. And that one's tapped out of bounds by Martin. It'll be a point for the Chiefs. Subbing in for Shiocton is number 2, Aaliyah Reese, for number 6, Bella Young. Serving it is Reese. Nice hit right in that middle of the zone by Holly Singer, making a nice play there. Be a point for the Falcons. Subbing out is Wiersba for number 5, Rachel Portman. Also coming in is number 7, Sasha Golan, for number 2, Tara Stormone. Serving it is Rachel Portman, sophomore. Here's Shiocton now with it. Portman, nice collection. Got to get over, they do. Collected by Wagner. Back over to the Amherst side. Here comes a spike, and that's off Wagner's hands. It'll be a point for Amherst, and it's now 7-8 Chiefs. Serving it for the Falcons is Portman once again. She gets it over, and that will be in. It'll be a tie game now on an ace from Rachel Portman. 8-8. So we're about almost 10 minutes into this game. Collected by Wagner. Hit up high in the air. Hit over by Beshta. Here's the hit from Kinsey Martin. That gets in the zone. It'll be a point for Amherst once again. So 3 points in a row for the serves by Rachel Portman. It's now a 9-8 lead for Amherst. Wagner collects it. Hit by Liliana Griesbach. Here's Martin now. That one's blocked. He'll stay on Shiocton's side. It'll be another point for the Falcons. That's 4 in a row. Timeout Shiocton on this little run by the Falcons. We're going to head to a quick commercial break brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty. We will be back after this.
My grandparents worked so hard their whole life to keep things nice. You want to make sure that you're getting the job done correctly. At no point did I feel like I wasn't being handled by professionals. They were literally taking it on a surgical level, it seemed. Like they were very, very thorough on every step. I feel like Infinity treated my family with the same respect they would have treated their own. I feel like my house is brand new again.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's currently 10-8 Amherst as they have a little bit of a run here, scoring 4 in a row to take that lead on the serves from the sophomore Rachel Portman. I mentioned on the way out, it's presented by Hoff Favor Realty. When it comes to real estate, you need someone you can trust to know every town, street, and deer trail in the area. Brett Favor of Hoff Favor Real Estate is here for you. Whether buying, selling, or just curious about real estate values, reach out to Brett Favor. Amherst currently has it right now. They got to get it over. They do. Hit by Kisting. Here's Shiocton now with a big spike. That was Beshta. And that one almost heads out off the basketball hoop. They got to get it over. They do. Nice job collecting that after basically hitting the ceiling. Hit over and off an Amherst player on the hit by Cordelia Monat. And it'll be a point for Shiocton. Serving it is Cordelia Monat. Just got the point. That one is a point for Amherst. If you saw that one, that was number 7, Sasha Golan, barely missing it, but actually head out of bounds. So it'll be a point for the Falcons. Serving it now is Leah Kisting. Collected by Shiocton. They got to get it over. They do. Nice bump. Here's Kisting now, high up in the air. Martin spikes that one over. Trying to get it, and they do, the Chiefs. Nice job collecting that one. High up in the air once again for Martin. That one heads out of bounds this time. Point for the Chiefs. Amherst still holding on to that 1-point lead. It's 11-10 Falcons. Serving it for the Chiefs, number 5, Liliana Griesbach. Collected by Martin. Here's number 12, Callie Lepak, getting the point for the Falcons on the hit over the net. And serving it for the Falcons, Kinsey Martin has had a nice couple points on a few spikes. There's Shiocton awaits. Almost heads out of bounds. Collected by a Chief, and that one is blocked. Point for the Falcons. I believe it went off the net on the hit by the freshman Natalie Young. Here is the serve once again by Martin. Martin collects it here. Hit over into the middle by number 7, Golan. Martin with the serve. Chiefs get it over. A little bit of a low grab there. Couldn't get there. Point for the Chiefs. 14-11 here. Falcons have the lead. Set number 1 subbing out for the Chiefs. Aaliyah Reese for Bella Young. Here's the hit over. That one heads out at the scores table. Be a point for the Falcons. Here's the serve now by Golan. High up in the air. Wiersma with a little bit of a tap. It stays on the Falcons side. Point for the Chiefs. Nice play there by the freshman Young. Infinity Exteriors installing peace of mind roofing, siding, and windows built to last, saving our communities from unscrumptious contractors. We guarantee quality you can trust. That's Infinity Exteriors. Serving it is Wagner. Here comes the Falcons now. Almost heads out of bounds. Nice collection by Lepak. Spiked over by Manat. Here's the Falcons. Wiersma tried to keep that one in. She couldn't do it. And it'll be a point for the Chiefs once again. Here's Wagner now. Wiersma with the kind of lighter spike. See that once in a while. That one's a spike and a block. Point for the Falcons. Attempted by Manat. But Bulk says not today. And we're going to see a sub in. Coming out for the Falcons is Kisting. And coming in is going to be number 14, Holly Singer. Here's Shiocton. High up in the air. Wiersma with a spike. But blocked down by Young. And it'll be a point for the Chiefs. It's a I believe it is a 16-14 lead. I think they gave the point to the Falcons, or actually it was a point for the Falcons. That's my bad. It's 17-14 is the score. That was a point by the Chiefs. So serving it now is Natalie Young. Talked about her quite a bit so far. The only freshman on the Shiocton roster. Playing good so far. As the Falcons await the serve. Diving for it is Kisting. Collected by Singer. Here's Shiocton now. Hit over by Monat. High up in the air goes Wiersba. Trying to block it. Where the Falcons, they're going to give the point to Amherst. It was hit out of bounds by the other young Bella. And back to serve for the Falcons is Ivy Bulk. Gets it over. It's going to be a tough play. Kind of sets it over. Back to Wiersba. Spikes in. A nice block there. And it's going to be a point for Shiocton. Net violation. And going out is Young. Subbing back in is Aaliyah Reese for the Chiefs. Reese will serve it. Collected by the other number 2, Tara Stormone. Here's Shiocton now. Spikes it over. That one's out of bounds. And another point for the Falcons. 19-15 lead. And subbing in for the Falcons is Rachel Portman and Sasha Golan for Wiersba and Stormone. Serving it is Rachel Portman. Last time the Falcons had her serving, they gained a few points and it forced a timeout called by the Chiefs. Served by Portman, collected. They gotta get it over. They do. By Wagner. Singer hits that one over, and here come the Chiefs now. A little hit behind. Causes them to recollect it, and bad communication there for the Falcons. There'll be a point for Shiocton. Back in is Wiersba for Portman, and back to serve for Shiocton is number 21, Cordelia Monat. High up in the air, Singer collects that one. And no communication there between the Shiocton players, and that will just drop. It'll be the 20th point for the Falcons as they are 5 away from taking set number 1 here in the Amherst gym. Serving it for the Falcons is Kisting. Up by 4. Here comes the serve, and that will head out of bounds. It'll be a point for the Chiefs. Chiefs hanging around so far. It's been all Amherst since that run. Shiocton looks to have a run of their own and serve by Griesbach. And there'll be another point for the Chiefs. So the inch closer and closer now, only down by 2 here in set 1. Serve by Griesbach once again. Falcons get it over. Chiefs trying to do the same thing. They do on a hit by Young. High up in the air. Just hit over by Martin, and that will get down. It'll be a point for the Falcons. 21-18. Kinsey Martin making the play. She'll also make the serve here. Falcons 4 away now from taking set 1. Here comes the serve from Martin. That will head out of bounds, and it'll be a point for the Chiefs. A couple back and forth points between the two squads. Once again, Falcons coming in at 12-6, 2-0 conference. On the other side, the Chiefs coming in 16-6, 2-0 conference as well. Here comes the hit, and that one's out of bounds by Callie Lepak. And it'll be another point for the Chiefs as they are only down by 1 now. They hit the 20-point mark. Here comes the serve by Beshta. High up in the air, just got to tap it. And that'll be a point for Bulk. Bulk was looking for the spike, had to adjust and decides to go with the fist tap. And it's another point for the Falcons, 22-20. Set 1, serving it for Amherst is Sasha Golan. Here's the serve, almost goes out of bounds. Shiocton's got to get over, they can't. It's another point for the Falcons. A nice serve there from Golan. And it's going to be a timeout for the Chiefs. 23-20 here in set number 1. Falcons inching closer and closer to taking this one. As we're going to head to another commercial break here on Zaleski Sports, brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
Auto repairs, brakes, tires, and oil changes all in one place at Auto Select in Weston. At Auto Select, you can expect dependable automotive repair from the experts you can trust will exceed your expectations. Auto repair has never been so comfortable with a spacious, clean waiting room, refreshments along with shuttle service and loaner vehicles for your convenience. And ask about their 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. For your next auto repair or maintenance, bring your vehicle to Auto Select on Schofield Avenue in Weston. In Stevens Point and Plover, at Auto Select, you're good to go.
Hello and welcome back. It's currently 23-20. Amherst having this lead in set number 1. Serving it for the Falcons is going to be Sasha Golan. A little bit of run here for the Falcons. Great food and wonderful family atmosphere awaits you at Whitetail Lanes in Amherst Junction. Pizzas, burgers, sandwiches, wraps, appetizers, soups, and so much more. Lunch and dinner served at Whitetail Lanes on Highway Q in Amherst Junction. Point there for the Chiefs. So they're trying to make this at least a game, or should I say a set. Making this one competitive at least. Down only by 2. Here's the serve by Wagner. Gets it over, collected by Wiersba. Set up high in the air, back to Wiersba. She taps it over. Nice job there by Besh to collect that one. Spiked over into the rafters. Collected still by Amherst. Nice job there. As we continue a rally, here's the spike over by Manat. Wiersba now with her spike of her own, and that will head out of bounds. It's a 1-point. They're going to give a point to Amherst. It's a net violation by Shiocton. And it'll be a point for the Falcons. 24-21. It is now match point for Amherst. Serving it is going to be Callie Lepak. Here's Manat. They're going to go back to her. No, it's going to go over to Young. She kind of sends that one over with 2 hands. Trying to get over there. There's a point for the Falcons. It's 25-21. They take set number 1 here in Amherst between the Falcons and the Chiefs. So we are going to head to another commercial break here on Zaleski Sports, brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
It's more than a job. It's semi-annual bonus, free medical clinic, free gym membership, retirement plan contribution, 11 paid holidays, and benefits start on day 1. Apply today. Electrical and mechanical maintenance and production jobs at Wapaka Foundry make iron castings the world uses and trusts. Visit jobs.wapakafoundry.com. Equal opportunity.
At Ridgetop Exteriors, we're more than your average home improvement company. We're your neighbors, and for over 20 years, we've been trusted and proudly serving right here in your community. Customer service is our #1 goal. Call now for your free estimate.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
In every department at Dull Auto, you'll find people who've been in the industry for decades. Sales staff with a deep knowledge, not just of cars, but how to build relationships. A service team who always double checks each other's work. Dozens of people you may never meet who've been working for years to make buying and servicing a car feel fast and easy. In over 100 years at Dull Auto, we've learned to value experience. After working with our team, you'll value our experience too. Dull Auto, simple.
ZaleskiSports.com has leveled up. Go to ZaleskiSports.com and choose your favorite schools for easy navigation. From the homepage, choose your school to see team records, upcoming schedules, and past results. Use the video icon to launch the next broadcast. Use the arrow icon to watch any previous broadcast. See the full weekly schedule too. Level up at ZaleskiSports.com.
Whitetail Lanes is your fun headquarters in central Wisconsin. We offer a clean, family-friendly environment. Whether you come to bowl, eat, visit our pro shop, or just hang out, we'll show you what customer service is all about. We pride ourselves on serving excellent food at reasonable prices. Try our Friday night fish fry, or come out on Saturdays for our delicious homemade pizza cooked in our new stone ovens. Book us for your next party or event. Once you've been here, we know you'll be back. Whitetail Lanes, just north of Amherst Junction on Q.
Hello and welcome back. If you're just joining us, Amherst has taken set number 1 for a final score of 25-21. A very competitive set between the two squads. Shiocton will serve this one away by Brooke Beshta, collected by Wiersba. Hit over by Delaney Connor. First time we're talking about her tonight, and it'll be a point for the Amherst Falcons. Serving it for them is now going to be Kinsey Martin. Now's the time for that new roofing project you've been putting off. Call Bob Gold Roofing for that brand new roof your home deserves. That's Bob Gold Roofing in Amherst. Another point here for the Falcons. 2-0. Good start here for Amherst. Kinsey Martin will serve this one away once again. Alexis Wiersba had a nice few spikes in that first set. Helped Amherst to that 25-21 set number 1 win. We'll see if Shiocton adjusts anything. And there's a block in. Nice job there from Ivy Bulk, and it's a 3-0 start here for Amherst. Here's Martin once again with the serve. Clicked by Wagner. Here's Beshta. She gets it over. Trying to keep on Amherst's side. It'll be a point for Shiocton. Not sure what the official call was, as they're going to talk it over here with the refs to help understand. Still be a point for the Chiefs. Serving it is going to be Sophie Wagner, sophomore. 1-3 lead for Amherst. High up in the air, Bulk. Collected by Beshta. Here's Young. Nice dive by Greaseback. Here comes the Amherst Falcons, and that's off an arm of a Chief. It'll be a point for Amherst. And it's a 4-1 lead for the Falcons. Serving it will be number 5, Rachel Portman. And that will head out of bounds on the serve from Portman. It'll be the second point for the Chiefs. Serving it now for Shiocton is number 12, Natalie Young. Here comes the serve. Currently cutting the lead in half. And that one's out on the hit by Bulk. And it'll be another point for Shiocton. As they start a little bit of a run here, 2 points straight for the Chiefs. Be Young once again with the serve. It's over the net, and that one's off the arms of Rihanna Ziesman. One of 4 seniors here on senior night. It was a tough play there. Could have been out of bounds potentially, but 3 straight points here for the Chiefs as Young. That will go by the feet of Wiersba. She decided not to go after it. It's another point for the Chiefs and an ace for Young. And 4 straight points here for the Chiefs. They currently have the lead 5-4 as they await the serve once again by Young. She gets it over, this time collected by the Falcons. Going up to Bulk. Bulk off the arms of Beshta. And a Shiocton player couldn't get there in time. It's another point for the Falcons. We are tied 5 apiece here in set number 2. Amherst Family Foods continues to serve the community as a full-service grocery store with fresh, local produce and so much more. With hot food selection, dairy, frozen foods, produce, fresh foods, veggies, and drinks. Get your groceries at Amherst Family Foods. That one's high up in the air, collected by Wiersba. Here's the Falcons now. Bulk just taps it over. A nice diving play by Wagner. Falcons now got to get it over. Here's the last hit, and that's going to be a violation on the Falcons because Kinsey Martin, I believe, was just under the net on the side of Shiocton, and that's a point for the Chiefs. They now have the lead 6-5. Waiting to serve is Aaliyah Reese. And that one will head towards the net. Net violation and a point, 6-6 now. As the Falcons will serve this one, it's going to be Ivy Bulk. As you can see, Reese talking over with our coach what to change on the serve. Here's Bulk now. Reese coming all the way towards the front. Hit over by Beshta. Here's Wiersma with a spike in. Nice collection there by Greaseback. That will be a point for Shiocton. There's one off the fingertips of an Amherst player. As now Shiocton has the lead once again. Here's the serve by Monat. Here's a spike by Wiersma. Nice collection there by Reese. Falcons once again going for a spike, this time by Holly Singer, as it went off, I believe, either the arm or the head of Shiocton player Sophie Wagner. Falcons tie it up 7-7. Here comes the serve from Callie Lepak. Once again, Amherst took set number one, 25-21. Shiocton trying to take this one. As that one will be a point for Shiocton. Here comes the serve for Greaseback. 8-7 lead for the Chiefs. Nice hit over there by Reese. High up in the air. That's a nice collection there by Singer. They're going into the stands, and that's going to be too many hits for the Falcons and another point for Shiocton. Back-to-back now for the Chiefs. And if you're Amherst, you want to stay with them as much as possible. You had a pretty good lead in that first set, but Shiocton just kept on fighting and fighting and fighting. Made it a competitive game, and there's another point on an ace from Greaseback. Now a 10-7 lead. The Falcons just got to relax, talk it over with their teammates, and get there and figure out what's best for their squad. Here's a serve by Greaseback. Tap over. They got to get over. They do. Slam by Young. Nice collection by the Falcons. Here's Singer now. Greaseback got it. Over by Young on the spike. Nice collection there by Wiersma. Martin hits it over. But not. Back over to Beshta. And here comes the spike by Martin. That will head. Actually, it was staying in bounds. It was on the line. Point for the Falcons on the spike by Kinsey Martin. As after a 3-point run by Shiocton, the Falcons finally get on the board. It's 8-10. Amherst currently down. Almost an ace. And hit over. Here comes the Falcons now. Right for the spike is Portman. She gets it right into the zone. Back-to-back points for the Falcons as they are inching closer to tying this one up. 9-10 now. And there's just nobody in that zone for Shiocton. Here comes the serve now from Kisting. Kisting gets it over the net. Young, nice spike. Here's Wiersma. She gets it there. Hit over by Connor. Wagner now hitting it over the net. Not as hard as the Young spike. Martin. Here's Shiocton now. Young in that middle spot, and that was out of bounds. Point for Amherst. 3 straight points. They tie this one up. It's 10 apiece here in set number 2. Serving it once again is going to be Lee Kisting, the sophomore. Shiocton trying to get back in that point column. They can't do it there. Actually, they can. A very close play. Point for Shiocton. They take back the lead. Serving it now will be Brooke Beshta. Culligan Water specializes in all of your water softener, drinking water, and water filtration systems. You can count on Culligan to keep your water pure and healthy with unparalleled service and convenient delivery options. That's Culligan Water. So here's Wagner now with a hit. Gets it right into that zone. Nice diving attempt by Bulk. She was able to retain it for the Falcons. Here comes Young now with a spike and a nice block there from Martin. Back on to Shiocton's side. They get it over. Here comes the serve, or excuse me, the bump and set and spike, and they get it over once again. Nice little rally between the two teams. Falcons looking for a spike. They can't. It was a tap over by Portman. Falcons trying to get it once again. Tap back over on a block by Young. Here's Portman with her own tap, and that's a point for the Falcons. What a beautiful rally between the two teams, and the Falcons tie this one up 11 apiece. A nice play there from Rachel Portman. Serving it now for Amherst is Kinsey Martin. Here comes Shiocton, blocked on the Wagner spike. There was Ivy Bulk, and a nice play there from the Falcons back to... Oh, they're actually giving the point to the Falcons. Must have been a net violation. Didn't quite see that one. Here's Wagner now with the serve. Point going to Shiocton. They have the lead. And that's going to be a nice, easy play for Cordelia Monat. And Martin just couldn't block that one in time. Back-to-back points for the Chiefs. Wagner once again serving this one away with a 13-11 lead here in set number 2. Wagner now. That one's over. Collected by Martin. Here's Portman. Young with the spike. That one goes up the net. It'll be a point for the Falcons. Looks like it was just miscommunication between Young and Cordelia Monat. Both have had quite a few spikes in this one. Believe Young wanted it a little bit more than Monat. And that's what resulted, and that'll be a point for the Falcons. And a violation for Shiocton, and we are tied once again. 13-13 here in set number 2. Here comes the serve by Portman. Monat with her own spike this time, and that will go out of bounds. Another point for the Falcons back-to-back. As they await the Portman serve once again. Nice play there for the Falcons. As there's an official timeout. Looks like there's a wet spot somewhere. Kinsey Martin will just wipe it up, and we're ready to play. Once again, serving Rachel Portman, sophomore. So the Falcons try to improve to 13-6 and 3-0 in conference. Battle of undefeated conference records. And a whole big spike there from Wiersba, but a better block from Natalie Young, the freshman, making a name for herself here in set number 2. Talked about her quite a bit, considering she is the only freshman on this Shiocton roster. Getting the start today as well, and she's playing pretty good so far. Speaking of Young, she will serve this one away with a 14-14 set number 2 score. Here's Wiersbo with a little tap. Collected by Young. Here's Monat. And that will go to the soft spot once again in that middle zone. And the Falcons need to talk that over, and that's because that's where Shiocton's trying to go, and it's working so far. 15-14 lead. Here's the serve by Young. This time collected by Kisting. High in the air. It'll be out of bounds, and it'll be a point for the Chiefs. 16-14 lead now for Shiocton. Great things are happening at the Tomorrow River School District. Join the Falcon family. Are you ready to fly with us? Here's Young with a serve. Just gets over the net. Nice collection by Wiersba. Kisting couldn't get there in time, and it'll be another point for Shiocton. Timeout Falcons. It's a 3-0 run here for the Chiefs. 17-14 lead here on Zaleski Sports. We're going to take another commercial break brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
Imagine if your orthopedic clinic, surgery center, and physical therapy were all in one place with one team. At Stevens Point Orthopedics, you'll have a clinic where a friendly voice always answers your call. If you need further care, it's a short walk to meet our surgery center team, or down the hall to meet a group of our physical therapists. There is one space and one team for the best orthopedic care in central Wisconsin. That's Stevens Point Orthopedics, world-class treatment and hometown care.
Hello and welcome back. It's currently 14-17. Amherst down. Shiocton's been playing great here in set number 2 after they dropped the first one, 25-21. A nice job here for the freshman Natalie Young, making a lot of plays, a lot of spikes, blocks, and now serves as she awaits this serve. Falcons calling a timeout, talking it over, and seeing what they need to do better. Too high in the air. Wiersba had to dive for that one. They couldn't get it over. And another point for Shiocton, 4 in a row. Here's the Young serve. On the air, collected by the senior Rihanna Ziesman. That one's out of bounds. But a point for the Falcons. It was actually tipped, or excuse me, a point for Shiocton. It's actually tipped by a Falcon. And it's now 5 straight points for Shiocton. They currently hold the lead 19-14. And another timeout by the Falcons. They only gave up 2 points, but that was all they needed to call another one. We're going to take another quick commercial break here on Zaleski Sports, brought to you once again by Hoff Favor Realty.
When it comes to vehicle maintenance and repairs, Stevens Point knows you can always put your trust in Auto Select. Keeping up with vehicle maintenance is often an inconvenience, but with locations on Highway 10 East and Church Street in Plover, Auto Select will have you back on the road in no time. Enjoy their 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, along with shuttle service and loaner vehicles for your convenience. Quality, dependable, automotive care experts you can trust in Stevens Point, Plover, and in Weston. At Auto Select, you're good to go.
Hello and welcome back. Currently a 19-14 lead for Shiocton. They've been playing great here in set number 2. 5 straight points here for the Chiefs and Natalie Young. She's currently the server for this Chiefs squad. Falcons trying to mount a comeback after taking set number 1. Here's the hit over. Up in the air now for the Falcons. There'll be another net violation. This time by Shiocton. It'll be a point for the Falcons. And hopefully this will get them going. As you see over on the side of Shiocton, Young subs out. Serving it now for the Falcons can be number 6, Delaney Connor, her first serve of the night. And that's going to be another net violation. And back-to-back points for Amherst. 16-19. They're trying to get closer and closer to tying this one up. Here's Connor now with the serve. Manat collects that one. High in the air by Beshta. Hit over. Weirs was there. Here's Bolt now. Blocked by the middle. Ashley Newbert for Shiocton. Here's Beshta over to Young. Martin over to Wiersba. Big spike and a block. Once again, that's Ashley Newbert. This time Singer gets it over. Over to Beshta. High up in the air. Wagner is there. As Amherst resets, here's this little tap, and a nice play there from the middle. Ivy Bulk making the play. 3 straight points here for Amherst. It's been a battle of runs. This time Amherst on theirs. Connor with the serve, almost out of bounds, collected by Wagner. Young gets it over. Ziesman back over to the Shiocton side, tipped in the air. Martin's there. And here's the Falcons. It's going to go to Wiersma. She gets it over. High up in the air. They're going to go to Wiersma with the spike. And that's too hard for number 5, Liliana Griesbach. She couldn't get there in time. And once again, talking about it's a game of runs so far between the two squads. Falcons now on a 4-0 run after Shiocton went on a 5-0 run. And it's both from that 14-point mark. So an 18-19 score. Falcons currently down by 1. Nice block there from Singer, and the Falcons have came all the way back, down 5. We have a 19-19 game, and this time it's a timeout for Shiocton. Here in set number 2, we got a very competitive battle. We're going to head to another commercial break, brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
The auto service specialist at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service can change your oil, fix your brakes, align your vehicle, make that check engine light go away, and more. Great service from great people at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
Selling your car to Dahl Auto is quick and easy. Bring your title and keys, and you'll have a check in as little as 30 minutes. Still owe money on your vehicle? No problem. We'll take care of it. Dahl Auto. Simple.
Hello and welcome back. Excuse me, it's currently 19-19. If you just missed the last couple minutes, Shiocton and Amherst were both at 14-14. Shiocton went on a 5-0 run. And a couple timeouts by the Falcons, and they are now back in it, 19. They go on their own 5-0 run. Serving it for the Falcons once again is Delaney Connor. Collected by Wagner. Here's Minot. Over by Newbert. Here comes the Falcons, hit by Bulk. Shiocton's there, and a nice block there from Singer. We'll see what the point is, and it's going to be a point for Shiocton. Very close play between the two teams. Subbing in is Aaliyah Reese for Bella Young. And Kinsey Martin once again talking it over with the referee. She now talks it over with their coach. And awaiting the serve, as it looks like we are ready to play, is Aaliyah Reese. With a 1-point lead, Shiocton trying to take set number 2 after losing the first one, 25-21. Hit over, and a nice play there from, I believe it was Bulk. Could have been Singer or Bulk. I couldn't tell there. But a nice play otherwise, and we are tied once again, 20 apiece. As each team is 5 points away. Falcons trying to take back-to-back sets, and Shiocton trying to tie this one up. Here's the serve from Bulk. Collected by Minot. Minot now with the spike, and that one was in. Bulk had a tough decision to make. She decided not to go for it, and it was a costly one, as now Minot will serve it with a 1-point lead. Minot gets it over the net, collected by Kisting. Bulk comes all the way back, and here's the spike by Wiersma. Here's Singer now, blocked, kept up in the air. Wiersma just spikes it over, keeping her team in it. Down by 1, this time Wiersma couldn't get that one over the net. Back-to-back points for Shiocton. 22-20 is the lead for the Chiefs, as they are now 3 away from taking set number 2. But the Falcons have done it before. They have made the comeback. They were down by 5 at one point. But it looks like Shiocton's on one of their runs once again. Here's Wiersba. And that one heads out of bounds on the hit by Aaliyah Reese. And it's now 21-22, Falcons down, as Wiersba's going to sub out for number 12, Callie Lepak. Also subbing out is Rihanna Ziesman. And I believe coming in was Rachel Portman. Here's the serve now from Lepak. Hit up in the air to Newbert. Collected by Bulk. Over to Shiocton's side. Here's the spike and out of bounds on Wagner. Point for the Falcons. As they have came back once again, we are tied at 22 apiece here in set number 2. So twos all across the board. Hit over to Amherst. Trying to set up either Portman or Martin. Shiocton now gets it over. And here it comes from Martin. She just kind of bumps it over. High up in the air for Wagner. And that one's low. And Kisting couldn't get there. It's a point for Shiocton. Coming back in for Callie Lepak is Wiersba. Serving it for the Chiefs is going to be Liliana Griesbach with a 1-point lead. This will be a crucial win for the Chiefs. High up in the air for Singer. Griesbach's there. Here's Young. The freshman gets it over for the Chiefs. Martin. And they're going to go back this time to Beshta. Falcons fighting for it. They do. And that one's high up in the air. They're still over on the Falcons side, collected by Wiersba. Nice little rally between the two squads. Portman couldn't get there. Another point for Shiocton. And now it's game point for the Chiefs. On a nice rally between the two squads, and the Falcons couldn't fly there in time. And here we go. Down by 2 is the Falcons. Singer couldn't hit it high enough, and that's a point for Shiocton. They take set number 2, and we are tied 1 apiece here in Amherst. We're going to head to a commercial break. Shiocton takes this one 25-22. We'll be back after this, brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
Wisconsin, Phelps Dairy Store in Stevens Point is your spot for family fun. Wisconsin style at the farm. Come have an ice cream or some of their daily made fresh cheese curds while observing the robotic barn milking the cows. Ask for a tour of the farm or let the kids see the cows up close. Various Wisconsin-made dairy and beef products, seasonal decor, and outdoor activities are just the start of the family fun that awaits you at the Phelps Dairy Store, just a half mile from Walmart in Stevens Point. Phelps Dairy Store, food, family, and fun.
Get more sales, more customers, more employees, more community support. Let Zaleski Sports help you today. Our advertising rates are less than what you have in your pocket now. People just like you watching this broadcast are your next customer or team member. Plus, you'll have the satisfaction of making sure that our light continues to shine on these student athletes. Use the phone in your hand. Email us now. Are you tired of being a boring old tree, bird, or mythical war hero? Find the right job for you at Express Employment. Stop today and discuss positions that fit your abilities and qualifications, leading you to the perfect job. Always local, always strategically selected to match your skill set with local employers. There's a perfect job out there. Let Express Employment professionals help you find it. In Wausau, Stevens Point, Medford, and Marshfield. Find jobs and apply online at expresspros.com.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call, to your first sip, to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
After a couple years of this, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That's where Midstate Technical College comes in. Got a passion for helping people? Maybe you like cars. Are you into science? Are you good with computers? No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options. Stop getting by and level up today.
Hello and welcome back. Currently tied 1 apiece in sets. If you're just joining us, Amherst took the first one 25-20, where they had a pretty good run to end that one. And then in set number 2, Shiocton had a few runs and finally took it at a final score of 25-22. So we are ready for set number 3. It's going to be Amherst serving this one. Looks like it will be Kinsey Martin serving it away for the Falcons. Once again, the Falcons coming in at 12-6 overall, 2-0 in conference. And over on the Chiefs side, 16-6 and also 2-0 in conference. So both teams looking to pick up their 3rd win and trying to avoid their first loss in conference play. As here is Martin now with the serve. High up in the air. Collected by Shiocton. Wagner hits it over to Wiersba. Here's Kisting. Griesbach got it to a teammate, but they couldn't hit it over. 1-0 Amherst. And towards the end of that second set, it got really competitive between the two squads. A very eventful second set. So we'll see if that third one is as eventful. Here's the hit by Beshta. High up in the air. Kisting just going to hit that one over herself. Setting up for the freshman Young, and it'll be a point for Shiocton, and they tie this one up 1 apiece. And Natalie Young has just been a big impact for Shiocton. Without her, they wouldn't be in this one, I would say. So here's the serve by Beshta. High up in the air for Bulk. She spikes that one. And Griesbach couldn't get there in time. 2-1 lead for the Falcons. So serving it now for the Falcons is going to be Sasha Golan. And that will hit the net, and it'll be a point for the Chiefs. Subbing in for the Falcons is Storman for Golan. Here's Wagner now with the serve. The new enter, Portman, or excuse me, Stormone. Couldn't get it over. It'll be a point for Shiocton. And Wagner will serve it away once again. Stormone is there. Hit over by Wiersba. That actually hit, I believe, the pole, and it's another point for the Chiefs. They have a 4-2 lead. Chiefs trying to take back-to-back sets, get momentum going into set 4. But it's early here in set 3, so we'll see what happens. So here's Shiocton now. Young hits that one over. Set up perfectly for Weirs, but she spikes it. Wagner collects it perfectly, and now Griesbach over to Manat. She hits it over. Falcons now setting it up. Bulk spikes it home. 3-4. Falcons down by 1 now. Subbing in for the Falcons is Holly Singer for the libero Lee Kisting. It'll be Falcons serve with Callie Lepak, of course, going for that ace. Here's the serve collected by Manat. Sets it back over to Young, and she spikes it home. And Natalie Young once again making another play. As Shiocton takes a 5-3 lead. Here comes the serve from the freshman Young. Kisting collects that one. Here's Martin over to Lepak, or excuse me, Bulk. Manat high in the air. Back to Bulk. She taps it over. Beshta with that one. Young's just going to two-hand that one over. And here's Wiersbe with the spike. Young is there, but Shiocton can't get it over. It's another point for the Falcons. They try to make this one competitive, and they are. So 4-5 now. Falcons down by 1. Shiocton trying to play a little bit of defense now with Young out. And a miscommunication once again. That's going to be too many hits. And back-to-back points for the Falcons. They tie this one up. It's 5 apiece here in set 3. Serving it for the Falcons is Ivy Bulk. Wagner. That one goes to the scores table. Not a great hit there from Wagner. And it's 3 points in a row now for the Falcons. 6-5 lead with Bulk serving. Bulk gets it over the net, but that will head out of, actually inbounds. It was a very close call. And now 4 points in a row for Amherst. 7-5 lead. Bulk with the ace. Wagner collects that one over by Newbert. Back over to the Falcons side. Here comes Wiersbe. She's going to have to tap it. She does, and right in the perfect spot, she does it. 8-5 lead. Falcons timeout. Shiocton on a 5-0 run by the Falcons. We're going to head to another commercial break here on Zaleski Sports, brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
My grandparents worked so hard their whole life to keep things nice. You want to make sure that you're getting the job done correctly. At no point did I feel like I wasn't being handled by professionals. They were literally taking it on a surgical level, it seemed. Like they were very, very thorough on every step. I feel like Infinity treated my family with the same respect they would have treated their own. I feel like my house is brand new again.
Hello and welcome back. Currently an 8-5 lead for the Amherst Falcons. I'm Brett McNamara, and you're listening on Zaleski Sports on YouTube. Falcons will serve this one away. It's going to be, once again, Ivy Bulk serving it for the Falcons. Shiocton were doing pretty good to start set number 3. Of course, they won set number 2. We are tied 1 apiece. So here's Newbert with a hit, a block by Singer. Shiocton's got to get it over. They do. Here's Singer once again. That will go out of bounds, and it'll be another point for Shiocton, as they are going to try and go on a run of their own. We mentioned it before in set number 2. It's been a game of runs. Shiocton goes on a little bit of a run of 5, and then Amherst goes on a run. There, Amherst goes on a run. Here, Shiocton scores. So we'll see if the Chiefs can go on a run, as Wiersbe spikes that one over and off the net a little bit. So here's Newbert. Back over to Bulk. Wiersbe once again with the spike. That goes out of bounds, and back-to-back points for Shiocton. So you're starting to see the runs between the two squads, and you really need that considering both teams are high caliber. And it was actually a point for the Falcons. So a 9-6 lead. I'm not sure what the official call is, but a couple substitutions here for the Falcons. Coming in is Rachel Portman and Sasha Golan for Stormone and Wiersbe. Serving it is Portman. She gets that one barely over the net. Kind of a line drive hit by and collected by Griesbach. Here's Martin now. She gets it over. Griesbach once again. This time Newbert hits it over, and that one's high in the air, and the Falcons can't get there. Too far of a hit for Portman, and now Wiersbe subs back in for the Falcons. And more confusion between the refs and the players. And staying in will be Portman for Wiersbe. Wiersbe, assuming, will sub in It's actually a point for the Falcons once again, so I'm very confused what these points are. And even the players, they are arguing with the refs, or not necessarily arguing, but just kind of having a conversation between the two, and just both teams seem confused what's going on point-wise. So the refs are going to talk over this one. Currently, the point goes to the Falcons with a 10-6 lead. And this isn't the first time there's been confusion between the two teams, as you can see Kinsey Martin for the Falcons and Brooke Beshta talking it over with the head ref. And now Beshta is just going to talk it over with her coach. Head coach is Terry Rosler. So it'll be a point for the Falcons. Here in set number 3, they have a 10-6 lead. Serving it will be Portman. That one heads out of bounds on the serve. And it's now a 10-7 lead for Amherst. Back to serve for the Chiefs is Cordelia Minot. Down by 3, and that one heads out of bounds. So back-to-back serves for each team going out of bounds. And now Lepak subs in for Singer. Holly Singer, last time I was here at least, was the Zaleski Sports player of the game. Here's a hit and a point by Sasha Golan. She hits it over, and it was just batted down by a Shiocton player. And it'll be a point for the Falcons. Back-to-back points scored. A 12-7 lead here for Amherst. Here's Griesbach. And that one will stay in bounds. And Wiersba's just been kind of missing those ones. 12-8 is the lead. And that will hit the nets. And it'll be a point for Shiocton because it just bounced over. And I believe Callie Lepak just didn't see that one coming. Or excuse me, that was Ivy Bulk. So point for the Chiefs. Here's the hit now from Callie Lepak. Martin now. And Shiocton can't get there in time. Another point for the Falcons. A few diving players there for Shiocton. They can't get that one. And now Kinsey Martin with the serve for Amherst. Here comes the Falcons now. Lepak just taps it over, collected by Reese. Here's Wiersba. Over to Martin, back over to Sasha Golan. Another point for the Falcons. 14-9 lead here in set 3. Here's the serve now from Kinsey Martin. High up in the air for Wagner. That'll go back over to the Shiocton side, and that's out of bounds, and another point for the Falcons. I believe it's been a 6-0 run for Amherst. Call JG Plumbing for all your residential and commercial plumbing needs. As your local Amana dealer, you can always trust in JG to get it fixed and get it off your mind. That's JG Plumbing in Amherst. Here's the serve from Martin. Wagner hits that one over, collected by Kisting. Martin comes all the way up to the front for Golan to hit that one. This time Young with a spike, collected by Martin once again. Kisting high in the air. Golan hits that over, and another point for the Falcons. 7 in a row. The Falcons starting to run away with it here in set 3. Once again, Falcons took set number 1. Shiocton took set number 2. Tied 1 apiece. And that one will hit the net. Finally a point for the Chiefs. They really needed that one, hitting that 10-point mark. Subbing in for Shiocton is going to be Bella Young for number 2, Aaliyah Reese. Serving it for the Chiefs is going to be Brooke Beshta, the senior. 4 seniors as well for the Chiefs. Of course, it is senior night for Amherst, and there's another point for Shiocton. 2 points in a row. Here's the serve from Beshta. High in the air, LePack spikes it off the hands of Griesbach. And coming in for the Falcons is going to be Tara Stormone for Sasha Golan. Just like these players bring their best to the core, Ridgetop Exteriors brings top-tier performance to your home, roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Ridgetop Exteriors has the winning strategy to protect your home. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Shiocton currently with it, 17-11 lead for Amherst, and there is point number 12 for the Chiefs on the spike from Manat. Sophie Wagner with the serve now for the Chiefs. They got to make a little run. They want a chance. Trying to make this competitive match. High up in the air, collected by number 12, Callie LePack, and it'll be another point for Shiocton. Couple points in a row now. So Wagner trying to get her squad going here in set 3. Here's the serve from Wagner. And that will head into the stands up towards, I guess, our broadcast table up here. On the hit from Stormone, it'll be 3 points in a row now for Shiocton. They really need this run. Try and make this one competitive. Here's Wagner with the serve once again. Right back over to Stormone. High in the air. Here's LePack. Spikes it, and Manat can't get there in time. It's another point for the Falcons. They are 7 away from taking set number 3 and taking a lead in the sets 2-1. And now it will be Callie LePack to serve for the Falcons with Singer subbing back in for Amherst. High in the air, back over to Manat. Manat with a spike and a block by Singer. Point for the Falcons. Nice play there by Holly Singer. It is now 19-14. LePack serving it once again. Only Storage serving the Amherst area, offering extra large units for businesses, boats, RVs, or an extra garage. Secure, affordable, and open 24/7. Visit Amherst Storage online to reserve your space today. Here's Manat now, high in the air, back over to Shiocton's side. They got to get over, they do. That was Griesbach with a hit. And here come the Falcons with the setup and the spike right to Wagner. Hitting it over is Young. Falcons setting it up once again, this time over to Singer. Manat over, back over to the Falcons side. High in the air, Weersbuck with the spike, and he'll just hit the top of the net. Falcons are there, though. And a nice awareness by LePack. That will go right at the line, Judge. And it will be out of bounds on the hit. Looks to be okay over there. And it's a 20-14 lead for Amherst. 5 away from taking set number 3. That will go way out of bounds on the serve from LePack. And Shiocton just staying in this one so far. They took set number 2, so the momentum was all theirs heading into this one, but Amherst has taken it right back. Here's Young with the serve. She awaits the whistle, and here we go. Down by 5 is the Chiefs. Gets it over the net, collected by Kisting. Here's Martin, heads it over to the other side. Manat back over to Beshta, and that will get in the zone on the hit from Manat. Back-to-back points for Shiocton. Nice spike there from the junior Cordelia Manat. Express Employment Professionals has relationships with all the local businesses and job openings. Call or stop in at Express Employment to find the right career path for you. Here's the serve by Young, collected by Martin, hit over by Bulk. As now Stormone gets that one. Here's the big spike from Wiersba over the net. Shiocton can't get there in time. It's another point for the Falcons on the spike from Alexis Wiersba. And she's been spiking it everywhere, all across that court. And here is Ivy Bulk now with the serve. Gets it over, and Shiocton just wasn't ready. As that goes right in the middle, and now a timeout for the Chiefs. 22-16 lead for the Falcons. They are 3 away from taking set number 3 and taking a lead 2-1 in sets. We're going to head to another commercial break here on Zaleski Sports, brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
Auto repairs, brakes, tires, and oil changes all in one place at Auto Select in Weston. At Auto Select, you can expect dependable automotive repair from the experts you can trust will exceed your expectations. Auto repair has never been so comfortable with a spacious, clean waiting room with refreshments along with shuttle service and loaner vehicles for your convenience. And ask about their 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. For your next auto repair or maintenance, bring your vehicle to Auto Select on Schofield Avenue in Weston. In Stevens Point and Plover at Auto Select, you're good to go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's currently 22-16 here in set number 3. The Falcons starting to fly away with it. Shiocton down by 6, takes a timeout, talks it over, and we'll see if they make any adjustments. I'm sure they have. Here's the collection by Greaseback. High in the air, Kisting over to Martin. Here's Martin with a spike and a nice block there, and still in play. Shiocton hits it back over to Stormone. High in the air, Singer's just got to kind of trail back and collect that one. She does, and a nice block there, and it's going to be a point for the Falcons on a net violation, or she must have hit it over the net with her hand, and now more miscommunication between the refs and Shiocton. But Amherst scores that one. They have a 7-point lead, 23-16, 2 away from taking set 3. Here's Greaseback, hit over by Newbert. High in the air, here's Wiersba with just the tap. Shiocton's there, this time Manat. Spikes in the air, they got to get there, Amherst does. And there's the third hit. Good job there by Amherst to track that one down. A big spike from Manat. Falcons were there, though. Wiersba hits it over to Shiocton's side. Manat with another big spike. This time it counts. And Manat's been trying to go everywhere onto that Amherst side. This time she goes to the perfect spot, and it's a point for Shiocton. They're only down by 6 now. It's a 23-17 lead for Amherst. Serve by Reese. High in the air, collecting it. This time Singer's going to hit it over. Greaseback's there for the dive. Here's Manat. This time she does go with the spike, and that one's going to cost her. It's a point for the Falcons. It's now match point for Amherst. And coming out is Wiersba for Sasha Golan. Serving it for the Falcons could be Rachel Portman. And Shiocton now down by 7. As they try to mount a comeback, we'll see if they can. Falcons with the serve. High in the air, hits the basketball hoop. They got to get it over. They got one more hit. Newbert's there. She does. Martin collects that one. Hit over by Singer right in the perfect spot. And Shiocton just wasn't there as Amherst will take set number 3. They have the lead 2-1. 25-17 is your final here in set 3. We head to set number 4 here on Zaleski Sports. We're going to take another commercial break brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
It's more than a job. It's semi-annual bonus, free medical clinic, free gym membership, retirement plan contribution, 11 paid holidays, and benefits start on day 1. Apply today. Electrical and mechanical maintenance and production job. At WIAA Foundry, make iron castings the world uses and trusts. Visit jobs.wapakafoundry.com. Equal opportunity employer. Women and minorities encouraged to apply.
At Ridgestop Exteriors, we're more than your average home improvement company. We're your neighbors, and for over 20 years, we've been trusted and proudly serving right here in your community. Customer service is our #1 goal. Call now for your free estimate.
Ridgetop
In every
Exterior.
department at Dull Auto, you'll find people who've been in the industry for decades. Sales staff with a deep knowledge, not just of cars, but how to build relationships. A service team who always double checks each other's work. Dozens of people you may never meet who've been working for years to make buying and servicing a car feel fast and easy. In over 100 years at Dull Auto, we've learned to value experience. After working with our team, you'll value our experience too. Dull Auto, simple.
ZaleskiSports.com has leveled up. Go to ZaleskiSports.com and choose your favorite schools for easy navigation. From the homepage, choose your school to see team records, upcoming schedules, and past results. Use the video icon to launch the next broadcast. Use the arrow icon to watch any previous broadcasts. See the full weekly schedule too. Level up at ZaleskiSports.com.
Whitetail Lanes is your fun headquarters in central Wisconsin. We offer a clean, family-friendly environment. Whether you come to bowl, eat, visit our pro shop, or just hang out, we'll show you what customer service is all about. We pride ourselves on serving excellent food at reasonable prices. Try our Friday night fish fry, or come out on Saturdays for our delicious homemade pizza cooked in our new stone ovens. Book us for your next party or event. Once you've been here, we know you'll be back. Whitetail Lanes, just north of Amherst Junction on Q.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. If you're just joining us, Amherst currently has the lead in sets 2-1. They took the last one on a big victory. 25-17 was the final of that one. Shiocton took set number 2. Amherst took, of course, set number 1. Serving now for the Chiefs is going to be Brooke Beshta. And these teams have been playing great so far as we await set number 4 with Amherst on basically game point here. As Kissing's just going to jump in front of Wiersba. High in the air, Martin is going to spike that one over. And Shiocton's not there in time. It's a point for the Falcons. Good start here for Amherst. And Martin. Kinsey Martin serving it once again. Falcons went on a run and just flew away with that one once again. In that last set, they just took over. And Shiocton had no chance of coming back. High in the air, Wiersba's there. Here's the set. They're just going to kind of tap that one over. Back over to the Amherst side. As Gris back. And a big spike by Young. But the freshman couldn't get it over. And maybe the Falcons have finally found out what to do against the freshman Natalie Young. 2-0 now Amherst. Martin once again back to serve. High in the air, collected by Wagner. Setting it up for the other Young, that's Bella, and Shiocton can't get there in time. Once again, a 3-0 start for the Falcons. As once again they have a 2-1 lead here in sets. High in the air, here's Young with a big spike, and this time it goes for the point. Natalie Young getting the point for Shiocton. 3-1 lead still for Amherst. If you're considering a career in fabrication or welding, consider dropping off a resume at Legacy Steel. This brand new addition to our Amherst community is located in the Amherst Business Park. That's Legacy Steel, proud supporter of your Amherst Falcons. And there's another point. Speaking of the Falcons, Amherst gets that one right in the zone. And they now have a 4-1 lead here in set 4. Serving it for the first time tonight is going to be Tara Stormone, as she looks to continue this nice start here for Amherst. Griesbach is there, diving for his Stormo. She gets it over. Nice play there from the sophomore. Here's Young with the big spike once again, and that vertical is just crazy. Young once again with the spike. This one goes out of bounds. And you can see why Natalie Young is a starter on this Shiocton roster. But that time she hits it out of bounds. Nice serve there for Tara Stormone, and a couple points here while she's serving. It's a 6-1 lead here for Amherst in set 4, as they're quite on their way to taking this match and improving to 3-0 in conference. But we will see if that's the route they're going in. And a big spike there from Ivy Bulk, once again making another play. A 7-1 lead here for Amherst. Shiocton takes a timeout as we are going to head to another commercial break here on Zaleski Sports, brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
Imagine if your orthopedic clinic, surgery center, and physical therapy were all in one place with one team. At Stevens Point Orthopedics, you'll have a clinic where a friendly voice always answers your call. If you need further care, it's a short walk to meet our surgery center team, or down the hall to meet a group of our physical therapists. There is one space and one team for the best orthopedic care in central Wisconsin. That's Stevens Point Orthopedics, world-class treatment and hometown care.
Hello and welcome back. It's currently 7-1 Falcons here in set number 4. I'm Brett McNamara, and you're listening on Zaleski Sports. Currently serving for the Falcons is Tara Stormone. And a nice little run here for the Falcons. Basically a 7-0 run. Gave up only 1 point. As here is the serve. Collecting it is the libero Griesbach. Young will hit that one over. Kisting now. High in the air. Here comes Weirs with a spike in the slam. 8-1. Alexis Wiersba there once again. And the momentum is all on the Amherst side. And another wet spot. They're going to ask for another towel. Not the first time this has happened tonight. For all of your tire and auto service needs, look to Shriel Tire Auto Service. Great deals on tires that fit your needs is a sure thing to get back on the road. That's Shriel Tire and Auto Service. Stormone with the serve. Once again, the sophomore collected by Wagner. High in the air. Manat off the head of Martin. It's still in play. Can't get there in time was Martin. She looks to be okay. But a point for Shiocton. And hopefully that will get them going, as serving is Natalie Young. Collected by Stormone. Wagner high in the air. They got to get it over. They do. That's Newbert. And here comes the serve and the spike, and that's off the arms of Young. And nice play there by Ivy Bulk, making the play once again. Subbing in now is number 14, Holly Singer, for the libero, Lee Kisting. Serving for the Falcons now is Callie Lepak. Here comes the serve and the spike. That one head out of bounds on the hit by Newbert. And now it's a 10-2 lead for Amherst. They're starting to run away with it once again. No matter what your everyday life looks like, Fleet Farm has you covered at the best prices guaranteed. Auto, pet, bird, farm snacks, Fleet Farm has everything you need, all at the lowest prices. Newbert just hits it over with 2 hands. Here's Stormone. High in the air for Wiersma. Spike. That one heads out of bounds. Barely. They're calling for a tip. And there is no touch there by Shiocton. It'll be point for the Chiefs. Very close call there. And here's the serve by Reese. High in the air for Bulk. And that one's batted back over to the Shiocton side. It's going to be a point for Amherst. 11-3 lead for the Falcons. Chiefs have no answer for the Shiocton squad here in set 4. A very competitive set 3. Shiocton took set number 2, and they are just falling apart here in set number 4. Another point for the Falcons on a miss hit by the libero, Liana Griesbach. Serving it once again is Ivy Bulk. And usually when she's serving, the Falcons are scoring. And that one out of bounds once again. Shiocton's just got to get there in time. They do. High in the air for Singer. And it's going to be a point for the Falcons. It looks like Singer's hand went over the net. And it'll be a point for the Chiefs. 12-4 lead. Ski's Meat Market is your locally owned premier meat market filled with more than 30 flavors of brats, along with chicken steaks, beef, deli meats, local and seasonal favorites. It's all at Ski's Meat Market on Highway 10 East in Stevens Point. Shiocton now with it, high in the air for Wagner. She's just going to tap that one over. Kisting now with it. Over to Wiersba with a spike and a score once again. Alexis Wiersba has done it again. 13-4 lead. And in will come Rachel Portman for Wiersba. Also subbing in once again is Sasha Golan for the junior Tara Stormont. Serving for the Falcons is the newly entered Rachel Portman. 13-4 lead. Gets it over the net, collected by Griesbach. Here's Wagner now. Low, and a nice play there by Portman, but the Falcons couldn't get to that one after the hit. Point for Shiocton, and Wiersba will come back in for Portman, and in will come Natalie Young for Shiocton. And here is the run you need. 1 point can really get anything going for a squad. 13-5 lead for Amherst. And sure enough, Young was there with a spike and slam dunk down. And it'll be another point for the Chiefs. Heading over is Griesbach, collected by Singer. High in the air for number 7, Sasha Golan. And it's another point for the Falcons, 14-6 now. The International Bank of Amherst invites you to bank locally with all the amenities you'd expect from your local bank. Great rates and local friendly service with a smile. Put your trust in International Bank of Amherst. Getting there is Reese. Wagner hits that one over. Collected by Bulk. High in the air for Martin, and she hits it right where Griesbach couldn't get it. 15-6 lead now for the Falcons. Serving now for Amherst is Lee Kisting. Wagner gets that one. Reese back over to Young, and she spikes that one home. Young keeping Shiocton in it. And out will come Aaliyah Reese for Bella Young. 3 Youngs on this roster: Abigail Young, Natalie Young, and Bella Young. So here's the serve by Beshta. Falcons got there in time. Young hits it over, and a nice scoop by Wiersba. Back over to the Shiocton side. They got to make a play, and that will go out of bounds off the hands of Beshta. And it's another point for the Falcons. Serving now for Amherst is going to be Kinsey Martin. And once again, this is the 3rd time tonight there's been some sort of a wet spot on the court. This time a Shiocton player in Natalie Young will clean that one up. Here's Kinsey Martin with the serve. High in the air, collected by Wagner. Could have possibly gone out. Here's the other Young. Bella hitting that one over. And a tap, and it's going to be a point for Amherst. Another violation by the Chiefs. They're not sure what they did wrong. And here is Kinsey Martin once again. And a miss hit there from Wagner. And it's another point for the Falcons. Timeout, Shiocton. 18-7 lead for Amherst as we head to another commercial break brought to you by Hoff Favor Realty.
When it comes to vehicle maintenance and repairs, Stevens Point knows you can always put your trust in Auto Select. Keeping up with vehicle maintenance is often an inconvenience, but with locations on Highway 10 East and Church Street in Plover, Auto Select will have you back on the road in no time. Enjoy their 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, along with shuttle service and loaner vehicles for your convenience. Quality, dependable, automotive care experts you can trust in Stevens Point, Plover, and in Weston. At Auto Select, you're good to go.
Hello and welcome back. 18-7 lead here in set number 4. I'm Brett McNamara. You're listening on Zaleski Sports on YouTube. Amherst 12-6 overall, looking to improve to 13-6, 2-0 in conference. Of course, looking to improve to 3-0. On the other side, Shiocton 16-6 overall. If they lose this one, it'll be their first loss in conference play, and this could affect down the road who wins conference. Two competitive teams. And we mentioned it before. This could be a tough battle for either team to see who wins this one. Currently, Amherst running away with it here in set number 4 on their way to another win, as there's a kind of a spike there from LePac over to Young, back over down the Amherst side. LePac is kind of floating it over to that Shiocton side. Martin high in the air, Kisting back over to LePac. Kisting collects that one once again. Martin's there, and Bulk slams it home for another spike and score. It's 19-7 Amherst. Here comes the serve from Kinsey Martin. That's just going to hit the net. Thought it was going to get over, and it didn't. So a point for Shiocton, 19-8 now. Adam Skibicki with First Weber, your trusted partner for buying or selling, offering expert guidance, personalized service, and proven results. Let's turn your real estate goals into reality. Contact Adam today. Amherst gets that one over, collected by Griesbach. Young, once again doing that two-hand send over to Golan, and another point for the Chiefs. Serving it now is going to be Wagner. And that one's going to head into the stands. And it'll be 3 points in a row now for Shiocton. So maybe a little bit of a late run here, as Amherst is only 6 points away from taking set number 4 and the series. Here's Wagner now once again with the serve. Down by 9. It's go time for the Chiefs. A nice little tap over by Bulk, making the play once again. And they are now 5 away with a 10-point lead here in set number 4. Serving it for the Falcons is going to be Tara Stormode. Stevens Point Orthopedics is proud to provide complimentary sports physicals to Central Wisconsin athletes this fall. Call 715-344-0701 to schedule your appointment. That's 715-344-0701. Spike attempt there by Cordelia Monat. She can't get it over. And another point for the Falcons. 4 is the point mark to winning this one. Here's Monat. This time she gets it over. A nice play there from the Falcons. Jumping and getting to it. Hitting it over is Bulk. Back to Wiersma with a spike, and that one's going to be a point for the Falcons. 22-10 now on the spike from Wiersma. Young tried to block it. She couldn't get there in time. And here goes Stormone with the serve once again. Wagner with the diving attempt. She's there. Hitting it over is Besta. And a big spike there from Bulk. She's been everywhere tonight with Wiersba. As here is Stormont, 2 points away from taking set 4 and the game. Young with the spike over. Stormont's there. High in the air. Here's Martin to Wiersba, and that's going to be a net violation point for Shiocton. Here's Young now with the serve, trying to make a last-ditch effort to try and get Shiocton in this one. And there's another point for the Falcons. It is now match point, and this set has been all Amherst. And they have not looked back. Up 24-11. You can see the ones up in the air for Amherst. Serving it's going to be number 12, Callie Lepak. Here comes the serve. Collected by Wagner. High up in the air. Manat is there. Set, serve, spike, and score! That's the game. And they do it the old-fashioned way on the spike by Ivy Bulk. Once again, making another play. 25-11 is your final here in set number 4. Amherst takes it 3-1 in sets. Coming up next is the Wapaka Foundry postgame show. For a job that will ignite your career, go to jobs.wapakafoundry.com. That's jobs.wapakafoundry.com. Once again, 25-11 is your final score here in set number 4. Stay tuned for the postgame show here on Zaleski Sports.
The mission at Wapaka Foundry is to provide all of the world with our great quality castings.
I think it'd be kind of hard to find this sort of environment working anywhere else. It's a little bit different than your typical factory setting.
People think that we just pour, we pour a few castings, but like here at Plant 1, we're pouring, 3,000 different parts.
There's a lot to learn, and it's fascinating. When I started and I said that to myself, well, if I don't give it a shot and I don't try out the job, I won't know if I actually like it.
I stay because of my team leader and my foreman and the guys I work with over there. They make it fun and easy and interesting. They're willing to help. They're willing to teach. They give you the time to learn.
As long as you show up, you do what you're supposed to, you ask questions, and you put your best foot forward, you literally can keep moving up.
One of the things that has kept me tied to the company is how do you feel? When you go every day to a place, you belong to a team, you have opportunity for growth, that's the right place to be.
I take pride in everything I do. And if you take pride in what you do, you're always going to do your best at it.
Wapaka has opened up a lot of opportunities for me. They've sent me to school. I have an associate's degree now. I take pride in that because I've always wanted to have a college degree, and now I have it, and Wapaka supplied that to me.
I feel like we are an elite team that keeps this place running in Melton Iron, and I like to feel part of something bigger.
I enjoy working with everybody. I love being up here in Wisconsin.
It's like a brotherhood. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone's looking out for everyone.
The people that make up Wapaka Foundry are just really genuine, hard-working people.
I take pride in everything I do. And if you take pride in what you do, you're always going to do your best at it.
We build a good sense of camaraderie with our teams. So it just allows for a more well-rounded and healthy work environment.
It's not just a job, it's a career.
What our differentiator is, Wapaka is a company, first it has a welcoming culture. So no matter what your background is, if you are coming, willing to do your job and contribute to the company growth and also growth yourself, you will find the right place.
We make products that help people. I don't ever want to have to worry that you get in your vehicle and you go home and something breaks or fails because we didn't do something right on our process. It all matters.
Wapaka Foundry, it's one of the largest iron foundries in the world, and it's right here in Wapaka, and I love that.
at their house, so we wanted to be on top of our game. We knew we needed to do great on serve receive and our serving, and we really practiced those serves to make sure that we could get them out of system a lot. And we had some great serving. And at the end here, this 25-11, we just were playing out of our minds. Nothing was hitting the floor. They had awesome digs. It was fantastic.
Exactly, and I was just going to mention that as my next question. You know, going into set 4, all 3 sets were very competitive, especially that second one where they ended up taking that one. Going into set 4, what did you say differently to your players?
I said, I don't have a voice, so I could hardly talk. So I said, let's just go out and do it and take care of business here. It's our homecoming week, and they're not going to take this away from us so that we can take this game. So.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm going to talk to Ivy here. Ivy had a great game. Going into this one in the locker room before, what are you thinking to yourself? Like, what are you saying to yourself? What do I need to do in order to win?
I think just like doing everything I can, like controlling what I can control on the court, because obviously there's going to be mistakes. Volleyball is a game of mistakes, and just like doing everything I can do to get as many points as possible, and also just supporting my teammates through everything, through ups and downs.
Exactly, and you played great. You had a lot of digs, like your coach said, a lot of digs, sets, spikes, especially serving. I noticed when you were serving, you guys were going on a lot of runs.
Mm-hmm.
When you're serving, what's your mindset during that too? Like to not mess up, obviously. So all the pressure's kind of on you. What are you thinking during that?
Yeah, I mean, getting runs with points is so important in volleyball. Just like getting that momentum, it's so important. So just honestly, just making it like over and in and being aggressive with it at the same time is just so important.
Exactly, you said it correctly. All right, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
All right, here, I'm going to hand you the mic. Go ahead.
I'm Ivy Bulk, and I'm in the house. I did not know.
Have a good one. Yeah, have a good one, guys.